Okay, so this question's got a couple putting a down payment of 50,000 onto a house, and arranges to pay off the rest. Okay, so we need to work out what the rest is in monthly payments of that for 30 years, monthly interest rate. Write all the answers, questions to the nearest cent, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so what was the selling price of the house? Oh, right, okay, so what we've got to do is we've got to work out what the principal was. Yeah? So the principal was how much they borrowed, and that's currently the unknown. Remember that with Finance Solver we can actually work out any unknown as long as we've got all the other details. So let's work out what we've got so far. So this is for question A. So we've got N, I, PV, PMT, FV, PPY and CPY. Okay, so this is quite a tricky question. It's good though. Right, we've got PPY, CPY is 12. FV would be 0 because they're paying it off. PV is the question mark. PMT they've told us is negative 1384 because it's paying the bank back that amount of money. Interest rate is 8.5, and then N is the length of the mortgage, so it's 30 times 12. Now if we put that in the Finance Solver, it will give us a value for PV. So let's do that now. So just clear all the boxes. Okay, so we've got 30 times 12. We've got 8.5. We've got unknown. We've got negative 1384. We've got 0. We've got 12 and 12. Okay, so if we highlight this box, press enter. That was the principal value. So I'm just going to copy paste that onto here. Oh, that didn't work. Just might have to write it. 179994. 179994.24. Okay, so that was the principal value. Now remember that they borrowed that amount of money, but they already had a deposit as well of 50 grand. So actually the price of the house was the combination of those two. So the price of the house was this number plus 50,000, which gives you a value of 184,994.24. So just to sort of explain how that all works, because obviously people that are doing these questions probably haven't bought houses before, but the person would go up to the house and they'd have the loan, which is PV, and they'd also have their deposit. And usually the bank won't give you the loan without you having the deposit first, because they want to know that you're serious and that you've got the kind of the backup money to do it. So normally the price of the house is the combination of whatever you borrow off the bank and also the deposit that you've saved up over the time. And normally it works out as about 80% and 20%, or 0.8 and 0.2 of the value. So they recommend saving up about 20%. Alright, so that's for part A. Now for part B, we are going to how much interest will they pay over the term of the loan. So to work out the interest of a whole loan, remember that interest is effectively like the bank's profit, and you work it out as the total repayments minus the value, the principal value, sorry. Because effectively they gave us that principal, so they made a loss at that point. The bank was in negatives, but then they got all of that money from us. So the difference is their profit. So to get the total repayments, you've got 30 times 12 times the repayment, which is 1384, and then take away the principal value, which was 179,994.24, and that difference will give you the interest. So that's a quick calculator job. 30 times 12 times 1384, take away, you can do this in one line, 179,994.24. So that's the difference, 138,245.76. 318,245.76. So if you're just quickly looking at these numbers, you'll notice that actually, compared to the original value of the loan, that's quite a lot of interest, and that's actually how banks make their money. They actually make a huge amount of money over the time, so that's why it's in the bank's kind of interest to actually give away loans in the first place, is to try and make that profit. D. How much will they still owe after the original 30-year period? So there's this change of conditions. So before part C D starts, we've got part C, missed a question there. So how much do they owe after 6 years? So if you've got all the details, including the PV now, you can fast track to any future value you want if you just play around with the value of n. So as long as we keep all the other numbers the same, so like 8.5% interest, PV we now know is 79994.24, PMT we know is negative 1384, and I'm just going to skip FV for a second, CPY and PPY. So that's 12. We can ask our calculator now effectively, where will we be up to? What future value will we have for this value of n? And all your calculator needs to know is the interest rate, the principal, and how much you're paying. And if it's got those three numbers, it can work out any value of n's future value. It's effectively like fast tracking across a sequence. You're going Vn equals, and it's telling you. So let's try after 6 years. So that'll be 6 times 12. And that will give us our value, future value there. So, wrong thing. Okay, so if I go to Finance Solver, 6 times 12. Fortunately, Finance Solver doesn't delete stuff, which actually makes it really easy to do this stuff, because you just leave all that now, and then you go down to there and press enter. And that's actually why it doesn't delete things, to speed these things up. So that's your future value after 6 years. So 169,798. 169,798.79, which will round up to 80. Okay, now notice how that's negative. That's because that's still owing. That's still due to come out in the future. So that's why that's negative, alright? But the answer, of course, is just a positive number. Still owing. Okay, so that's for part C. Now, what I predict is going to happen here is a change of conditions. Yes. So, after 6 years, the interest rate increases by this much. Now, this happens regularly with loans. In fact, way more often than just every 6 years. But this is obviously to make things simpler. They've done it just once. So, after 6 years, it goes up. The couple must now extend their loan in order to pay it back in full. So, obviously, the couple doesn't suddenly earn more money, so they might want to stretch their loan out. Okay, they call that refinancing in the real mortgage world. So the couple might extend how long it takes to pay it. So how much will they still owe after their original 30-year period? So what we now need to do is we need to put everything in the same with the new rate from the point that they got to. So This is after 6 years. So that is the starting point for this next calculation. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave n blank. We're going to put the interest rate in now as 8.5 plus 0.9. The principal value, this is our starting point effectively, is going to be the number that we were at after 6 years. But remember, it has to have a positive sign because it's still in the bank of the couple. They still have to pay it back. Even though they probably spent the money, that's still their money, not the bank's money. So it's positive number. So this effectively says that's the starting place for our next calculation. PMT, they are implying by the question stays the same because the couple obviously doesn't have, any new money coming in. And as for the future value after 30 times 12 minus 72. So if we go 30 times 12 and take away 72, that's how many payments is left, 288 payments, to make it to 30 years total, because we had 72 up here, and we had 288 left. So that will tell us how much is left owing now. Okay, so it pays to read the question correctly. You can rush these things sometimes. Menu finance solver. Okay, so 288 at the top there. Here, we're going to leave PV the same for the same reason I told you before, but this time FV is going to be left blank. We want to find out what it gets to in 288 payments. So apparently they still owe 111,567.69. 111,567.69. Now that is negative because it's still owing. And the next question asks us, calculate the new monthly repayment required if they wish to pay it off in 30 years. So, instead, we're going to start at the same starting place. So it's after the, that 72 payment. So we're still going to have 169,798.80 owing. PMT is now unknown. I is the 9.4 that we've said. N is still 288 because they want us to finish this loan in the same amount of time. We're just going to adjust the payment. FV is 0 because they want us to finish it. And this is 12. So this will work out the amount that they will have to pay if they want to finish it in the 288. So instead we're going to go 0 there, and we're going to leave this as the optional, the variable that we're going to, the unknown variable. So they have to increase their payments by the looks of it to 1487.29. Okay, so pretty tough question. Yeah, there's a lot to it actually.